The recording has started. Hare Krishna, welcome to Bhakti Sankalpa conference call. Today's speaker is Her Grace Kalasudha Mataji. Mataji will speak on the topic of Sri Caitanya Caritamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, verse number 84 onwards. Hare Krishna Mataji, are you present on the call?
Hare Krishna Navani, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Srila Guru Maharajas.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening us on this topic. I now hand over the call to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Thank you very much for this amazing opportunity to dive into the nectar of Sri Caitanya Caritamrita. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Sri Caitanya Caritamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 24, entitled Explanations of the Atmaram verse, text 84 through 92. Text 84. রাগ ভক্তি বিধি ভক্তি হয় দুই রূপ স্বয়ং ভগবত্বে প্রকাশ দুই রূপ. Translation: there are two kinds of devotional activity, spontaneous and regulative. By spontaneous devotional service, one attains the original personality of Godhead Krishna, and by the regulative process, one attains the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 85. By executing spontaneous devotional service in Vrindavan, one attains the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Text 86. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the son of Mother Jashoda, is accessible to those devotees engaged in spontaneous loving service, but he is not as easily accessible to mental speculators, to those striving for self-realization by severe austerities and penances, or to those who consider the body the same as the self. Text 87. By executing regulative devotional service, one becomes an associate of Narayan and attains the Vaikuntha Lokas, the spiritual planets in the spiritual sky. Text 88. Those who discuss the activities of Lord Krishna are on the highest platform of devotional service, and they evince the symptoms of tears in the eyes and bodily jubilation. Such persons discharge devotional service to Krishna without practicing the rules and regulations of the mystic yoga system. They possess all spiritual qualities, and they are elevated to the Vaikuntha planets, which exist above us. Text 89. The devotees are divided into three categories: Akama, Mokshakama, and Sarvakama. Text 90. One who is actually intelligent, although he may be a devotee free from material desires, a karmi desiring all kinds of material facilities, or a jnani desiring liberation, should seriously engage in bhakti yoga for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 91. The meaning of the word udaradhi is buddhiman, intelligent, or considerate. Because of this, even for one's own sense gratification, one engages in the devotional service of Lord Krishna. Text 92. The other processes cannot yield results unless they are associated with devotional service. Devotional service, however, is so strong and independent that it can give one all the desired results. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanath Swaminiti Namine. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayane Gaurakatha Dhamadaya Nagara Gramatarine Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Very beautiful verses. We welcome all the devotees online. Thank you for your very beautiful comments, and please accept my humble obeisances to Hare Krishna. So, these verses that we read, here Sriman Gauranga Mahaprabhu is very beautifully establishing the tenets of pure devotional service. In the first verse that we read, text 84, very clearly distinguishes, Mahaprabhu is saying here, that there are two kinds of devotional activities. The way that we can render devotional service, one is spontaneous and the other is regulative. Mahaprabhu is saying that by spontaneous devotional service, one attains the original Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and by regulative process of devotional service, one attains the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Then it goes on to explain that one who does spontaneous devotional service goes directly to and worships Krishna in Vrindavan, who is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. 86 is also saying that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the son of Mother Jashoda, is accessible to those devotees who are engaged in spontaneous devotional service. And then text 87 is saying that those who are doing regulative devotional service becomes associates of Lord Narayan and they go to the Vaikuntha planets. So here a very immediate question, an immediate question that comes to our mind is that we all know that we are supposed to be doing only regulative devotional service, and that spontaneous devotional service will come. But in the beginning itself, if we try to do spontaneous devotional service, then we will become sahajiyas. We'll become, um, not we because of our material conditioning, we will not be able to, act according to the platform of spontaneous devotional service. We will completely be washed away. So therefore, we have been suggested to render regulative devotional service. But here, Mahaprabhu is very clearly distinguishing that if we do regulative devotional service, then we go to Vaikuntha. Then do we have no chance to go back to Goloka Vrindavan, to Krishna? The answer is given by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada very distinguishedly, has said that yes, Srila Prabhupada has established deity worship in our society. And we do worship Radha and Krishna. We do worship Radha Krishna, Radha Madhava, Radha Nila Madhava, Radha Gopinathji, Radha Ras Bihari, so many wonderful deities. Srila Prabhupada has given them such beautiful, amazing names of Radha Krishna deities. So when we worship Radha Krishna, however, because Srila Prabhupada said that although we worship Radha Krishna, we actually worship them in the way that we worship Lakshmi Narayan, because they are dressed in a very opulent way. Radha Krishna, originally in Vrindavan, Krishna dresses very simple. He doesn't even have a turban. He just has a little sash of, cloth around his forehead, and then he just tucks a peacock feather in, and he just wears Vajayanti Mala, and that's about it. It's very, very simple. Krishna is extremely simple. He's simply beautiful in Vrindavan. But Narayan, in Vaikuntha, he dresses opulently. He wears a turban. He has, gold jewelry all over his body, and he's very, very aristocratically dressed. So if you see our deities at the temple, we will understand that that's not really how Krishna dresses in Vrindavan. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada taught us that we worship Radha Krishna, or that although we may be worshipping Radha and Krishna, but because we are engaged in regulative devotional service and we are not using our conditioned mind, materially conditioned mind, because if we try to do spontaneous devotional service at this stage, then we'll start speculating based on the conditioning that we are in. We will start speculating all sorts of nonsense. We will probably just poorly dress up Krishna. We will, rub mud all over his face and say, oh, well, this is how Krishna is in Vrindavan. We'll put makhan all over his face, butter all over his face, and we'll say, oh, well, Krishna just, got caught eating butter. So, that's how he dresses. So that'll all become very mental speculative, and it's going to be very detrimental to us in our stage of Krishna consciousness that we all are in. So therefore, knowing our fallen condition, Srila Prabhupada has given us the highest, how should I say, the highest, level of Krishna consciousness, which is spontaneous level of Krishna consciousness, but we are rendering it through regulative principles of Krishna consciousness. That is the beauty of spiritual life that we are following based on the tenets that Srila Prabhupada has given us. It's really amazing how Srila Prabhupada has packaged this entire program for us, that although we are engaged in regulative devotional service, but ultimately Srila Prabhupada is training us to render spontaneous devotional service. That is the beauty of listening to the words of the acharyas. That is the beauty of just simply following the instructions that are given by our spiritual master, that are given by our Param Guru Srila Prabhupada. If we just do simply that, then although it may seem, that we are chanting 16 rounds, but Srila Prabhupada did tell us that the reason why we chant 16 rounds, why do we chant 16 rounds? So that we can continue to chant every moment of 24 hours that are there with us. That is the purpose of chanting 16 rounds. Not that 16 rounds over, okay, 16 beads down, mala done, okay, we just put our beads back in, and then just the bead bag goes on our doorknobs. End of duty. That's not the purpose of, chanting 16 rounds. The purpose of chanting 16 rounds is not to finish 16 rounds. The purpose of chanting 16 rounds is to please Krishna, is to please Guru, so that when they are pleased, that they will allow us to chant every moment of every hour of every day. That is the purpose of chanting 16 rounds. So we are following the rules and regulations of devotional service so that we can be able to, one day or the other, get into or slide into spontaneous devotional service by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. That is the beauty of the spiritual tenets given by Srila Prabhupada. So we should not feel even once discouraged. That, oh, that means we are doing regulative devotional service. That means we are going to go to Vaikuntha. That's what Mahaprabhu is saying here. Yes, that is a fact, that if we continue to just do only devotional service in a regulated way and we just, remain stuck to that, mind frame of just doing the rules and regulations in that way and not really follow what is the purpose behind following the rules and regulations. Like if we just follow, like say, for example, our, when we go to school, especially I can give you my own example. When I was in my 8th, 9th grade, we had our English teacher, our English professor. He was a very, very talented person. And, the thing that he loved doing with us was exercises. We would play a game called extrapolation, where, although we would read from our own textbooks, but he would make us think out of the box. He would give us situations which are based on the stories that we just read from the textbook, but he would train our mind to go beyond the books. He would train our mind to just go beyond the theoretical and learn to apply the teachings that we are just, learning on a theoretical level. We are trying to apply them. And because of that technique of teaching, many of us were really, some of us scored 98, 99 in an English language during our board exam because of this technique of teaching. He was not just stuck to only, the textbook. He went out of the box. He gave us a real life scenarios. He exposed us to real life scenarios to utilize the tools that we are learning theoretically and to learn to apply them practically. So that is the beauty of the way that Srila Prabhupada is also teaching us. That Srila Prabhupada is teaching us these tenets that are given in our Shastras, but Srila Prabhupada is, tuning it in such a way that if we follow what Srila Prabhupada is giving, then the day will not be too far away that when we will be able to spontaneously be able to chant the holy name, spontaneously love to chant our rounds. We will spontaneously love to render devotional service. That is the beauty of the instructions that are given by our acharyas. So that is the importance of having a personal coach, a personal guru, who can show us through, in these kind of practical terms on how to apply the principles of the Shastra, not get confused about it, not feel that, oh, that means these regulative principles, if I just do, then my destination is Vaikuntha and we'll just get stuck. Just, theoretically reading this particular line, our mind will just get stuck. But Srila Prabhupada is giving us much more. Prabhupada is showing us a way that how, through the process of rendering regulated devotional service, we will be able to dive into the ocean of Raganuga Bhakti, of spontaneous devotional service. That is the beauty of how an acharya steps in and resolves any kind of, superficious doubts that we may have while reading the Shastra. So in text 88, it is said, this is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is quoted here by Mahaprabhu. He's saying that those who discuss the activities of Lord Krishna are on the highest platform of devotional life, and they evince the symptoms of tears in the eyes and bodily jubilation. Such persons discharge devotional service to Krishna without practicing the rules and regulations of the mystic yoga system. They possess all spiritual qualities and they are elevated to the Vaikuntha planets which exist above us. So here a very similar verse Krishna also speaks in the Bhagavad Gita. Madchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. That my great devotees, they derive great satisfaction and bliss by always conversing about me with one another. When devotees get together, they don't talk about, oh, look, that person is so bad. Oh, that devotee, he didn't treat me nicely. Oh, that devotee told this to me, you know what is happening in the world today. You know what is happening in our community today. So what's happening? What's new in the community? This is not the conversation that devotees have. Devotees need to have conversations like, I was reading this particular verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam and I really enjoyed it today and I want to share it with you. This is the kind of symptoms that I felt when I was doing my devotional service today. When I was interacting with one particular devotee, these are some of the thoughts that came in my mind. Some of them were these negative thoughts. How can I get rid of them? Please tell me, what can I do to get rid of these negativity? These are the kinds of conversations that devotees should do when they meet with each other. Then that kind of conversation, Krishna comes and blesses the ones that are having that kind of conversation. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. That is the beauty of discussing Krishna in our life. That is the beauty of allowing Krishna to come into our lives. Otherwise, we are just wasting our time in the name of rendering devotional service. It's going to go nowhere. It's going to give us no kind of result. We will see that wherever we were, we are still stuck over there, because the boat, we may be rowing the boat, we may be, all sweaty, we may get, we may be drenching in our own sweat, and we are rowing, we are using all our muscle power to row our boat. But the boat has not left the dock. Why? Because we have not pulled out the anchor. The anchor is there, stuck deep down inside. And when the anchor is still stuck deep down, how much ever we row, we will not move forward. So what is the anchor in our spiritual life? The anchor in our spiritual life is lust, pride, greed, envy, anger, illusion. Envy, greed, lust, pride, arrogance, all of these are our, anchors that hold us down. They don't allow us to make any kind of advancement. How will we make advancement if we are having so much of lust, pride, greed, envy, and anger and illusion? We can never make advancement. When we are, talking to devotees, if we are lying our way out, we are just lying to the face of others, posing that we are doing something great. Who are we trying to cheat? We are cheating ourselves, and we are cheating Krishna. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that if you're in the illusion that you're a cheater, that you can escape every time, trust me, I am a bigger cheater than you, Krishna says. I am the greatest cheat. Amongst all the cheaters, I am the greatest cheat, Krishna says. We do not want Krishna to cheat us anytime. We don't want to be at the receiving end of Krishna's cheating, because if Krishna comes down to cheating with us, imagine what's going to happen to us. If Krishna says, okay, I cheat you, that from now you will not get any air to breathe. Bas, done, finished, we are done. Life gone. What are we going to do then? If Krishna says, okay, you think you're going to fool your way around, you think you're going to lie that, you're such a great devotee, you're posing to everybody's thinking like this, feeling like this, saying like this. Now see what I'm going to do. And then Krishna does some things which we just cannot imagine. And when Krishna does something like that, the test of that person is how much he's able to sustain it. If they are sincere, they will not leave devotional service. But if they're insincere, then they'll go and hide their faces in shame. That is how, Krishna, if he comes down to cheating, we will be left nowhere. So let us try that we are never on the receiving end of Krishna's cheating us. Let us try to be recipients of Krishna's mercy. And how can we be recipients of Krishna's mercy? If we try not to cheat. At least let's try consciously. Because this tendency to cheat is one of the doshas, one of the very, very prevalent doshas. The tendency to commit mistake, the tendency to cheat, all of this, and especially this tendency to cheat, is a very prevalent fault that we all have. It's inbuilt within us. So therefore, we must try at least consciously that let's not cheat. Let's not try to lie our way out. Let's not try to do that. Once we do that, then if Krishna starts doing that same thing to us, we'll be in a lot of trouble. So, the kind of conversations that devotees have, Krishna says here that that kind of conversation actually brings a smile to the face of a devotee. When devotees, when they genuinely care for each other, when devotees genuinely have loving feelings towards each other, when we are in such beautiful association, that kind of association automatically brings a smile to our face. Why does it bring a smile to our face? Because Krishna is pleased. And when Krishna is pleased, our hearts automatically become pleased. That is the beauty of Krishna. When Krishna's hunger is satisfied, we all feel satisfied. If Krishna is feeling, happy, we all will feel happy. But if Krishna is sad, then there's nobody who can stop us from being sad. So let us make sure that we try to make Krishna happy. We try to make our spiritual masters happy in all circumstances. Let them never feel, even once ashamed of what we are doing. Let them be able to hold their head high. Let us be able to hold our head high in front of our spiritual masters. That is the, sincerity with which we must render our devotional service. Then that is going to be pleasing to Guru and Krishna. And then Krishna will shower his mercy upon us. So here we see that how Krishna is saying that there are three kinds of devotees: akama, sarvakama, and mokshakama. Akama sarvakamo va mokshakama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Text 90 is quoting this particular verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam second canto. Very, very famous verse. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport to this particular verse that Krishna is saying that whether we may be akama, whether we may be free from all desires, or we may have sarvakama, we may have all kinds of desires, or we may even have mokshakama, or we may even have the desire for liberation. Prabhupada is saying that in all these three circumstances, we must still engage in devotional service. Tivrena bhakti yogena, yajeta purusham param. That we must engage in serious Krishna consciousness in all circumstances of life. And once we do that, then Krishna will take care. It is a guarantee that Krishna will take care. Why will Krishna not take care of his sincere devotees? He will. He has promised. The only criteria from our end is that we need to have sincere efforts in trying to perform our devotional service. That's all is needed. Nothing else. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, and that is the extent to which Krishna is so merciful. Krishna never harbors any kind of ill feeling towards any devotee. Krishna has spoken the Bhagavad Gita, the most famous context, the most famous spiritual book that ever exists in all creation is the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna has clearly declared what his desire is in the Bhagavad Gita. What he desires for all of us, Krishna has clearly declared that. That man manabhava mad bhakto, that become my devotee. Please surrender to me. Sarva dharman parityaja mame kam sharanam vraja. That just come and surrender to me. So Krishna has not left any stone unturned in letting know what he actually desires, what he wants us to do. Krishna has made it very, very clear in the Bhagavad Gita. But how many of us are really following the Bhagavad Gita in our life? We may put on tilak, we may put on so many things, but are we really living the Bhagavad Gita? Are we really, really surrendering to Krishna? Are we really surrendering to our gurus? That is the question that we must put towards ourselves. But does Krishna ever think that, see, I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, spoke the Bhagavad Gita for all these people, all of us? Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna is not thinking that, look, how many of them are following? So they are not following what I'm saying. Okay, from tomorrow, everything gone for them. I will take back all the, things that I've given to them. I'll take back. Air supply cut, water supply cut, everything cut, 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 cut. Krishna does not do that. Krishna never harbors any kind of ill feelings towards any of us. He's always so kind. He's always so forgiving. Krishna is so forgiving. So if Krishna can forgive us not once, not twice, million, limitless number of times. Even in our own devotional services, can we remember so many times we've surrendered to Krishna, but so many times we have chosen not to surrender to Krishna. We have done that in our own devotional life, every moment of every day. But does Krishna reciprocate with us based on that? How much merciful Krishna is. He forgives. He gives us, what to speak of second chances, he gives us millions and unlimited number of chances. Not just a second chance. Krishna is so kind. He's so merciful. So when we deal with devotees, I know we can never be as forgiving as Krishna, but we must try. That if Krishna can be so forgiving, at least we can try to forgive everyone else whom we feel that they are doing some injustice towards us. If Krishna can forgive me, why can't I forgive anybody else? Even though they may have done so much injustice. We are doing so much injustice to Krishna, but Krishna is still forgiving. So who am I to not forgive another fellow living entity? So once we do that, trust me, we feel so feather light. Once we really choose to forgive everyone, then, Krishna really nurtures our Bhakti Lata Kripa. And that Bhakti Lata creeper then very beautifully grows because we are continuously nurturing all of the weeds. We are doing the weeding process, taking out all the lust, pride, greed, envy, anger. We are weeding and we are making sure that the fertilizer into the Bhakti Lata is added constantly. It is nicely protected by the fence of the association of like-minded devotees who can protect our Bhakti Lata. Then our Bhakti Lata grows, it flourishes, it grows and grows and grows, and one day it just penetrates through the material coverings, the material universes, it penetrates, it crosses beyond the Swarga Loka towards all Brahma Loka, everywhere, and it crosses the Viraja river, the river that divides the material world and the spiritual world, and it enters into the spiritual sky. It even surpasses all the Vaikuntha planets. And then finally it enters into Goloka Vrindavan and it seeks shelter at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. And that's where the beautiful flower of Krishna Prem blossoms. When the Bhakti Lata Bij is, the creeper is, it touches the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, then the flower of Krishna Prem blossoms and the fruit immediately comes, and that's when we can relish the fruit of love of God. And once we relish it, we just share it with others also. That is the beauty of spiritual life, which our acharyas have given. So, although we are, again coming back to the initial point, that although we are engaged in regulative devotional service, but our ultimate, just by following this package that Srila Prabhupada has given us, we will slide into spontaneous devotional service one day or the other. With that hope, we continue on with our regulated devotional service, and we pray to Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, we pray to Sri Sri Gaurnitai, we pray to Srila Prabhupada, we pray to our Guru Vargas that they be kind upon us and pick us up and just engage us in devotional service. Just drop us in the ocean of nectar so that we can just continue to dive into the nectarian association of devotees, and in that association learn to relish the sweetness of Krishna consciousness. So, with this, we'll end here. If there's any questions, comments, or reflections, we can take that now. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hi, Krishna Madhya. Thank you for your class. My question refers to your statement that lust, anger, and greed anchors us here in this material world of samsara. So, for those of us who are chanting, however many rounds of chanting, aspiring to one day be Krishna's servant, despite our chanting, experience that lust, anger, greed are still present, So, the analogy that comes to mind is that, a person may be dirty, but they're in the shower. So, they're in the shower, dirt may still be there, but it's coming off gradually. So, can I use this analogy to try to reconcile the fact that, although we are still experiencing love and greed, but because we are chanting, maybe we are not necessarily like anchored because they're getting purified of those qualities. I don't know if I was clear in my question.
Yes, you're right. Yes, we are in the process. It's not that overnight we can see that, oh, today I'm free from all lust, pride, greed, envy, and anger. So yes, we are in the shower and we are in the process. So yes, it's correct.
So your statement refers to people who are not chanting, is it?
Pardon me, come again?
When you said that if we have lust, anger, greed, then we will be anchored here. Does that refer to people who are not performing any kind of devotional service?
Yes, they are. They could even be sometimes performing some devotional service, but if they are not doing it in the right mood, if they're not doing it in the right consciousness, then they are, their anchor is still down, so to speak. So, therefore, it is said that when we are rendering devotional service, we must have genuine humility so that we can properly associate with devotees, and we can take the guidance of senior Vaishnavas who can, guide us based on their experience, and by following the path that they have followed and they have, walked that path, by following that same path, then we will be able to, gradually, step by step, be clearing out all of our anarthas. But the criteria for doing that is that we must be submissive, we must be humble, we must be tolerant, we must not be doing our japas thinking that, oh, look, I'm doing 32 rounds every day, or I'm doing 48 rounds, I'm doing 64 rounds every day. That's nonsense. We must not be proud that we are very humble. That's still being proud. So, that's why, we need the association of good, proper senior devotees, and like-minded at that also, who can really teach us the tenets of devotional service like they have learned. And by following that genuinely, we will know how to tackle, all of this lust, pride, greed, envy, and anger, and pride, and all of these things. So yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, and you also say that a person who as you referred to earlier, said, okay, I've done my quota of rounds, and so, put these back away. That kind of mentality or approach to japa, will that also result in our being anchored here, even though we're doing our quota?
Yes. It depends, I mean, depends on what is our real consciousness at that time. I mean, are we really thinking the japa to be like a burden? Or are we, depends on what our real consciousness is. We have to be truthful to ourselves so that we can pray to Krishna that Krishna, look, I'm at this level, that I'm really thinking right now that, okay, I've finished my rounds for the day and, I want to get out of this consciousness. Krishna, please help me. So it's about being truthful to ourselves. It's about accepting at what level we are in, so that when we accept it to Krishna, then Krishna will give us the motivation and the strength to move upward from there. But we have to have the strength to accept where we are,
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. I have a question online from Indu. So she's asking that, could you please explain how to forgive and especially forget? I can forgive, but it's so hard to forget some incidents. It's very true. Sometimes it's really easy to forgive, but it's very, very difficult to forget, especially when that person comes in front of our eyes, or when we just go back to that particular incident. It becomes very difficult to forget. And then that all that forgiving also comes back, that unforgiving nature also comes back. So one thing is that depend on Krishna, that Krishna says that from me comes remembrance, intelligence, and forgetfulness. Matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. Krishna is so kind, that he can give us the power to forget. He can give us the strength that we can forget the bad that has happened to us. We can tend to forget that. Actually, Srila Radhanath Swami Guru Maharaj, he says that there are two things to remember and two things to forget. He says the two things to remember, no, firstly, the two things to forget. He says is that forget anything good that we may have done to others. Forget it. You've done good. Neki kar darya mein dal. This is a Hindi proverb, that you do good, but don't brag about it. Don't even remember it. Just do it and forget about it. So forget about all the good that we ever do to others. And the other thing that we need to forget is anything bad that anyone has ever done to us. Let's forget that. So for doing both, we actually need to surrender to Krishna. We really need to pray to Krishna. We really need to pray to Krishna in this context, that Krishna, you have said that from me comes remembrance, intelligence, and forgetfulness. So Krishna, please allow me to forget these two things. That any good I may have done to others, or any bad that others may have done to me, let me forget these two things. And what are the two things to remember? Two things to remember is that I am Krishna's servant, that Krishna, I am yours and you're mine. That one I always want to remember. And never forget Krishna and always remember Krishna. So when we do this, remember these two things all the time, then we will automatically forget anything bad or anything good we may have done, and anything bad anybody may have done to us. So just practice. Yes, it can be very, sometimes the bad that we have gone through, whether it be that we did something good to others and they have forgotten about it and they are ill-treating us now, or the fact that, others have done bad to us and we are remembering it all the time. So, both of these situations, it's very gratifying for us, because, for us to feel that bichara, oh, look, I am so helpless. I am the victim here. There's nobody who's suffering more than me. This self pity that we have ranking on going around, we just rant about it all the time because it's very gratifying. you know I'm sorry to say this, but it happens to all of us. I mean, especially me. I can tell you that it's very, very gratifying to always play victim. That, to think that, oh, my suffering, if anybody else would go through what I'm going through, they would die right now. Nobody can imagine the kind of agony that I'm going through right now. That's the nature of this material world. Even the ant is actually having the same thought. Even the little, the tiny, tiny, tiniest of living entities, they are having the same thought. That what I am going through, nobody else is going through. Nobody is capable of even understanding or even, accepting what I'm going through. This is the beauty of material world. Everyone has this mentality. Anybody who's, having any kind of material situation, they always think like this, that mine is the greatest of all problems. Nobody can even, think, even conceptualize what I am going through. Because we love to play victim. We love to feel that, oh, look at me. I am in such a sorrowful state. You should give your love to me. Why do we want to be in a pitiful state? Because we want people to come and console us. We want people to come and give us a pat at the back and say, don't worry, I'm there with you. So ultimately, why are we doing this? We are doing this to attract attention and love. We are doing a self-pity just to attract that. So we must understand why we are doing what we are doing. Even Krishna, he actually, when Mother Jashoda was complained to by the elderly gopis that your Kanha comes and he comes and, eats our butter, look at what he's doing. Then what did Krishna come and tell Mother Jashoda? No, no, Maya, I didn't do anything. These ladies, they only come purposely. They come and put makhan on my face and they're saying that I stole. No, they're all lying. I don't do anything like that. I just don't do that. Krishna is saying this. Why? Because he just wants a tight hug from Mother Jashoda. That Mother Jashoda will say, oh no, Kanha, my lovely Kanha can never go and steal. So Krishna is doing this for love. So we are also part and parcel of Krishna. So we also have that same tendency as Krishna in a very minute way. Qualitatively, we are very, very less. Quantitatively, we are very, very minute. But we have the same quality. We want to attract that compassion upon us so that we get love. Ultimate objective is to actually get love, to actually feel that somebody cares for us. That's why we want to play victim. So, but in the negative, in the material world, we are doing it in all kinds of negative ways. In spiritual world also it exists, but it is absolute in the spiritual world. It is positive in the spiritual world. But we tend to go through negativities just to get to that ultimate objective, which is love, to get compassion and love and care. But we are using negativities here in the material world. That is the difference. So ultimately, we are seeking love. That is what we need to understand, and we need to accept that. We need to understand that logically. That why are we really doing what we are doing? Why are we playing victim? Because we want people to care for us. We want people to love us for who we are. So who can be a better lover than Krishna and his dear devotees? They can really genuinely, selflessly love us. They can really care for us. Our spiritual masters, they're an ocean of kindness. They're an ocean of love. So once we realize this, then we will stop this self-pity. We will stop it because we are getting love and compassion and care through positive means. So we'll stop looking for negativities anyways. and praying to Krishna to help us forget is very, very essential. So, two things to remember, two things to forget. Does that answer your question, Indu? I hope it answers your question. Thank you for that online question. Any more questions? It was a very beautiful question, by the way. Thank you, Indu.
My I have a small question.
Yes, Kaumudiki Mataji. Hare Krishna.
We have in the backyard, there's a stream, and the roof needed to be fixed. So my son and his brother-in-law, they came to fix the roof. And his brother-in-law came with his son, who was 10 years old. And so they climbed up, my son and his brother-in-law climbed on the roof. So that boy also wanted to go on the roof. And he was insisting that I want to come up. And then he said, his father was saying no, gently, but he was not kind of listening. So then the boy said, my mother told me that I should help you. That's why I came here, to help you. So you are up on the roof, so I also want to come on the roof and help. So then I heard that. I'm in the house, but I heard that. So then I told the boy, that Vedant, his name is Vedant. I said, Vedant, your mother said that she doesn't want you to go on the roof. Actually, I haven't talked to mother for this reason because she's working and we are so busy. But anyway, I should have done that. But it was like insisting and was just making too much. So that's what I say. And it's like I'm cheating him or lying. Some both things like lying and cheating. So I was saying, it's cheating, so I shouldn't have done it. But I didn't want that boy to fall off from the roof and get hurt. So that's why I said that. But I don't know.
Well, see, the ultimate objective of yours was for the benefit of that little child. So, sometimes we do that. I mean, Krishna also tricks us. This is not really called cheating, it's called a sweet tricking. So he tricked the little child, and but it was for the ultimate benefit of the child, so that's perfectly all right, Mataji.
But later on, I did relay the message to Baba, saying, this is what I had on your name. I said, thank you.
And I'm sure the mother must be proud of that she must be very thankful to you that you did that in her name.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
I was feeling but I didn't want him to get hurt,
Yes.
Because maybe fixing the room, and father may not pay attention, or my son may not be able to pay attention. He may fall off. So
yes.
I understand that.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any more questions?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Namaskaram. Mataji, what we do is that we say we have to have compassion towards everyone, humility. But then many times we say that this compassion, humility, is always prioritized. Like there are some people whom you have more humility towards or more compassion towards.
Yes.
And some of them you do not have. So, and when you meet such devotees or when you become when you are at the lower end, like when you do not have that same humility which they are showing towards others or compassion which they are showing towards others, then how do we react? Like, because we forget that time, but when the same thing happens to another devotee, then you keep remembering and then you do not want that other devotee to suffer because of it. Because you forget what happened with you. But then you do not want that same thing to happen to others. So what will it like? You think in your mind, oh, I'm having that devotee care me.
But again, it is becoming a poison for your own bhakti because you keep remembering whatever wrong happened with you. So in this condition, what should we do from our side? Forget about others, we cannot change them. But how to bring ourselves in the same condition and how to bring ourselves in a very equipoise state, because we are not at the Mahamudra stage, right? So what would you
Well, see, because it's a very, very nice question. Very nice question. Seems to be a lot of disturbance in the background. What should I do? Okay. So basically, I really like your question. Very nice question. But the thing is that, when we are trying to save, have you seen? I think there was a National Geographic document or something one time that they were showing that there was a monkey who had fallen into a little ditch, and a baby monkey had fallen, and there were some forest animals, I think it was snakes, that made a chain. One of the snakes hung above a tree, and then another snake hung below it, coiled around it like that. They made a chain, and then one of the monkeys climbed out down through that chain and then picked up this baby monkey and was able to rescue it. So the moral of the story is that when we are trying to save others, if we are on our own, then yes, we will feel completely saturated, because we ourselves are not holding on to somebody else. So it's very important that when we lend out one hand to help another person, that we are also holding on to another person who is above us. It's very important to have that chain. And that chain goes back to the parampara, it goes back to Krishna. So that's our source of strength. And when we have that kind of chain strength, we will not feel saturated at any level. We'll not feel drained out at any level, if we don't do that, if we are not getting our own nourishment while we are giving nourishment to others, then it's a very dangerous situation. So therefore we must make sure that if we are giving nourishment to others, that we are also getting nourished ourselves. We must make sure of that our batteries also remain charged, on full, when we are trying to extend our helping hand to others. So that's what I would say. I hope, does that throw some light on your question?
Yes, Mataji, because you do not want to get carried away in that negativity.
Yes.
So when you say that you should hang on to some others, what does that exactly mean? Should we have somebody in confidence and talk to them?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. We must have somebody that we can also talk to and share our mind, saying that, okay, sometimes when I talk to others, these are the things that kind of disturb me. How can I deal with it? Talk to your seniors about it, so that you are able to give more better help to the juniors whom you're taking care of, or your peers you may be taking care of. You'll be able to be better equipped that way if you are sharing what's going on in your life with your superiors, and they can share that with you, so they'll nourish you that way, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Any more questions?
Hi, Krishnamataji. Do you mind if I ask a follow-up question to Indu Mataji's online question about
Sure.
Forgiving and forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, if, let's say, a person has suffered from some mistreatment by another person, and maybe have it once, maybe it's happening continually. So I kind of feel like there is a place for not forgetting, so that you don't subject yourself to that same kind of mistreatment in the future. When I say not forgetting, I don't mean in the sense of holding grudge, I mean in the sense of learning from history and then making adjustments accordingly. So not forgetting in that sense. I was wondering how you felt about that.
Very good point. Yes, if such a thing is happening repeatedly, and then it's going to be really difficult for us to forget, So then our senior, who we are confiding in, I'm sure the guidance that will come from there is that better to avoid that kind of relationship, stay at a distance, give respect from a distance. So any kind of relationship that is detrimental to our Krishna consciousness, we must know that if we can share that with our superiors, with our confidants, and then they can throw some of their experience in light to us, and based on that, then we can really see whether respecting from a distance is better in such a relationship, so that we are not hurt over and over again, because that's going to be definitely detrimental to our Krishna consciousness. So it's better to have a safe distance, but does not mean that we have grudge towards them, but respecting them from a distance is perfectly fine. Like it'll be almost like out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, and not trying to get into that kind of situation again, so that we are not, it doesn't repeat again, basically.
Right. And you said that, well, how could it be detrimental to our consciousness if we are continually subjected to that?
Well, some things, like, say, for example, I'm just giving a very crude example. If someone just comes up to us and picks a fight with us, for no reason, just goes on criticizing us for no reason, for no fault of us, just goes bad mouthing us everywhere around. If that kind of a person is there in our life, then it's just best to avoid association, close association with such a person, and just stay away. But nonetheless, respect them from a distance, because they're Vaishnavas. You just give them respect, but at the same time, associating with them could be really not very favorable to our Krishna consciousness. So stay away, have a safe distance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
No? Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Mataji, I had one question. It
Yes.
was number 85. Why it is printed by spontaneous devotional service in Vrindavan when attains Krishna? Is it necessary that we should execute it in Vrindavan only? Can you please explain, Mataji?
When it is said, a very nice question, thank you for that. When it says here Vrindavan, it doesn't mean the physical Vrindavan, it actually means Goloka Vrindavan, which is the ultimate, the topmost spiritual planet, which is the planet of Krishna. So that's what is meaning. So if you're attached to any other dham, that's perfectly fine. I mean, if you're attached to Jagannath Puri or, to Mayapur, it doesn't really mean Vrindavan Dham specifically. That's not what it is meaning here in this particular verse. This verse is specifically meaning about Goloka Vrindavan. It's talking about Goloka Vrindavan in the spiritual world, which is the highest abode. And in fact, we as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, here's the secret. Srila Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, he says that actually Gaudiya Vaishnavas, by the mercy of Lord Nityananda and the mercy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, in this Kali Yuga, we have a very special privilege that we are not only just eligible to go, or not just, I won't say eligible, we don't just have the doors of Goloka Vrindavan that is open to us. We, in fact, have the doors of Shvetadvip Dham that is open to us also. And Shvetadvip Dham is the highest corner in Goloka Vrindavan, which is the abode of Lord Chaitanya himself. And it is said that when we go to any other spiritual planet, that if you go to Vaikuntha, you stay in Vaikuntha. If you go to Goloka Vrindavan, you'll stay in Goloka Vrindavan. You cannot move out from there. You cannot go and visit the other spiritual planets. But if you go to Shvetadvip Dham in Goloka Vrindavan, to Mahaprabhu's Dham, then Mahaprabhu takes out his Sankirtan party every single day. So every single day, Mahaprabhu one day decides, okay, today we'll go and see Krishna in Vaikuntha. How Krishna is doing the affairs of the world, how he's managing the affairs of the world. So Krishna, Mahaprabhu brings his Sankirtan party. He'll bring all of us in Sankirtan and we'll all come to Vaikuntha to take darshan of Lord Narayan. The next day, Mahaprabhu says, oh, today let's go and see what Krishna is doing in Mathura as the prince, as the crown prince. What is he doing? Let's go and see what Krishna is doing in Dwarka. Let's today go and see what Krishna is actually doing in Gokul, in Golok Vrindavan. What is he doing over there? So let's go and see him there. So like this, Mahaprabhu takes his Sankirtan party to every different corner of the spiritual world, every different spiritual planet. Mahaprabhu takes his Sankirtan party. So this is the special privilege that we as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, as Mahaprabhu's devotees, Mahaprabhu Bhaktagan, that we have the pass, we have the access pass to enter into Shvetadvip Dham in Goloka Vrindavan. So if we can go there, if we aspire to go to Mahaprabhu's Dham, then we can get the benefit of seeing each of the spiritual realms each day, like that. So that's just a nice little tidbit there for our spiritual rasa. Yeah. But thank you for your question. I hope it answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Mataji.
Okay, any more questions?
Hare Krishna, if nobody has any questions, we can end the call here. Vancha kripa sindho bhayarevacha patitanam pavane vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Caitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace Kalasudha Mataji ki jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Kalasudha Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Kaumudiki Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.